पिछले 6 दिनों से अजय बिष्ट सरकार हमें चक्कर लगवा रही है, गोल गोल घुमा रही है। इस राजनीति का औचित्य क्या है? मजदूरों की कोई अगर मदद करना चाहता है तो उसमें राजनीतिक रंग आप कहां से ले आते हैं? प्रियंका गांधी जी ने तो यहां तक कह दिया कि आपको अगर उस पर बीजेपी के बैनर लगाने हैं या उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार को कहीं सही झूठे कैसे भी रूप से क्रेडिट लेना है तो लगा दीजिए। लेकिन इसका औचित्य क्या कि मई के अंत की गर्मी, पैर में छाले, खाने पीने की व्यवस्था नहीं, बच्चे महिलाएं सब रुल रहे हैं रोडों पे और आप बसें नहीं आने दे रहे हैं, चलने दे रहे हैं। पहली बात तो ये गैर जिम्मेवारी, ये अवहेलना कि खुद आप उत्तर प्रदेश और बिहार के लोगों को प्रदेश में नहीं आने दे रहे हैं। यहां आपको मदद करनी चाहिए थी, आगे बढ़ के करनी चाहिए थी। आप अगर असमर्थ हैं, आप अगर आपका मन नहीं है, आपका कोई उद्देश्य और है परोक्ष या सीधा, तो कम से कम प्रियंका गांधी से, कांग्रेस पार्टी से, कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ताओं से आप इस प्रकार की मदद लेने में क्यों झिझक रहे हैं? ये क्या सस्ती राजनीति का सबसे घटिया, सबसे एक दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण उदाहरण नहीं होगा? मेरे पास शब्द नहीं है कड़े से कड़े ऐसे चीज की भर्त्सना करने के लिए। मैं समझता हूं देश थूक रहा है इस प्रकार की घटिया राजनीति के ऊपर, और अभी भी समय है, अभी भी समय नहीं गया है। आज हम 4 बजे तक वहां खड़े हैं। अगर आपको जनादेश की शर्म है, जनता जनार्दन की शर्म है, आंख की शर्म है, इन श्रमिकों की शर्म है, बच्चे महिलाओं के लिए शर्म है, कुछ तो है आपके अंदर मानवीयता का अगर अंश भी, लेश मात्र भी, तो तुरंत इस बात को आप बदलिए। इस प्रकार की अजीबोगरीब हरकत से को बंद करिए। Friends, I want to say in less than a minute, 2 minutes, that one is astounded. One cannot understand. Even today, it is not mystifying. It is inexplicable. If it was not tragic for humanity, it would be comic. How is it that a Ajay Bisht Sarkar is sitting, not only doing nothing, but allowing no one else to do anything? And not only not allowing anyone else to do anything, but obstructing any help to migrants. Will they stand up and explain to the nation? You have been hearing for the last 2 days in particular, but also over the last 6 days, even as I speak, approximately 500 buses are standing at Uncha Nagla, the border area of UP. We have announced every day, and again I am announcing before you that we will stand there till 4 o'clock again today. How is it that you will not allow these buses to ferry migrants of UP and Bihar? How can there be any reason behind this? Can there be any politics behind it? This kind of help has a political color for you. This kind of a thing is divided into political categories for you. I think the whole nation considers this the most cheapest, vulgar kind of politics. Words are not strong enough to describe it. It has no place. You give lectures on cooperative federalism and competitive federalism. It has no place in Indian democracy. It is still not too late, and I beseech with folded hands. Priyanka ji said it evocatively when she said that if you are so concerned about political color 24/7, with crisis, without crisis, please put your name, please put your banner, please put your party's banner, but at least use the help we are providing. Today, you are obstructing such heat of May, nearing the end of May, such terrible destitution, deprivation, and devastation amongst migrant labor, amongst people, children, ladies, searing heat, water, food, and you are not allowing buses to ferry them. I would beseech Mr. Ajay Bisht with folded hands, if you cannot help them, please allow Priyanka Gandhi, Congress party, some workers of Congress. We are not claiming that we are going to solve the problem. We cannot. We are only a political party. You, the state, are unwilling to do it, are hell-bent on not doing it. Allow this much help to go through. I condemn this in the strongest possible words at my command. The nation condemns it. It is shameless politics amidst crisis and devastation. Friends, the second issue on which I will speak a little more detailed relates to lockdown. Now, you are in lockdown for, and I'll tell you in Hindi again at the end of this. So have some patience and we'll have question answers. We have now the third or the fourth day of so-called lockdown 4.0, LD 4.0. I want to start by saying that this government's, now we are not talking of all generalities, we are talking focused on lockdown. I want to say that this government has become synonymous with inefficiency, incompetence, and insensitivity, even on the narrower area of lockdowns in the plural. We have, of course, told you in many other areas, including fiscal stimulus and other things, where they are completely insensitive. But now we are talking more focused on lockdown. Here are a few facts which I want to shock you and the nation through you. Fact number one, you will get a chart which I have prepared through the AICC shortly after this presser, where I have put 4 lockdown dates. As you know, 25th March, 14th April, 3rd May, and now 18th May, which is onwards from 4th lockdown. The number of cases on 25th March was 618. The number of cases on 14th April, which is LD2, was 10,363. The number of cases on 3rd May, LD3, was 28,000 odd, 28,770. And the cases on 18th May, remember my last date is 3rd May. 18th May is clearly above 1 lakh, in fact closer to 1,05,000. Now this is the lockdown period. Has lockdown really sudden? We are not on lockdown per se. We are on sudden, unprepared, unthought out, knee-jerk lockdown. That's the purpose. We are not on lockdown simplicity. Percentage growth rate of these cases, I've given you absolute figures. Obviously, the first percentage growth rate from 618 to 10,000 from first to second lockdown was, if you take in percentage terms, very high, 1,576%, because obviously the original figure was low. So let's ignore that. But the rate of growth between second and third lockdown is 170%. And now I am converting it to percentage. The absolute figure is very, very high, but I am now perhaps more in favor of the government, giving you a percentage. Now the percentage from 3rd May to 18th May, exactly 15 days, is 257%. Now this is the cases. The deaths similarly are 13 LD1, 339 LD2, 1,306 LD3, and 3,163 LD4. Here again, the rate has grown clearly from 2 to 3.3 and now slightly down at 3.1. Testing is the third parameter in the chart which AICC will give you shortly after this press conference. Testing in LD1 date, which is, remember, 25th March, was 25,144, and we have increased, and I compliment the increase. But the increase has been from 25,000 to 20 lakhs. Whatever increase is there is to be appreciated in testing. It's now 20 lakhs 39,000 odd. But do you know what the testing rate is per 1,000 of Indian population? See, you have to count testing on a basis of the Indian population. Otherwise, an absolute figure is completely irrelevant and misleading. From LD1, it was 0.018 per thousand. So not 0.18, 0.018 was tested per thousand. And now I'm not giving you the intermediate figures of LD2 and LD3. It is 1.5 per thousand. 1.5 per thousand. Now, friends, the second chart which my note will give you is to compare the testing rates globally from big countries, small countries, rich countries, poor countries, developing countries, developed countries. Take any country. You have Iceland at one of the highest figures, and the figure I've given you in the chart is 166 persons per thousand. 166 persons per thousand. I'm comparing per thousand here, per thousand there. Remember, our highest today is 1.5 per thousand. Iceland is 166 per thousand tested. I'm not suggesting that we are Iceland. I'm not suggesting that we are able to do that. I'm just giving you a comparative perspective. Italy, which had lots of logistic problems, is 50 per thousand. Then we go down, US is 34, Singapore is 31, UK is 27, South Africa is 7.7, and even countries like Senegal are 1.76, and Taiwan is 2.91, almost 3. India, as I told you, is 1.5 and 1.6 between that. So this is the three parameters of cases, deaths, and testing. They have failed you miserably. Two have increased during lockdown. Exponentially increased, dramatically increased. One has beneficially increased, but marginally, that is testing. So 2 and 1, 3 parameters. Now I turn to a second aspect. Is the government fooling you? Is it shameless? Having fooled you and misrepresented to you, is it not even apologizing to you? Have the courage to be man and apologize to the nation. The government's own task force, on a press briefing of April 24, chaired by a member of the government's Niti Aayog, showed a graph which showed everything peaking on 24th April. Please see the link which my note will give you. In the link on the backdrop is that graph. The Niti Aayog member and the chairman of the government's task force is addressing you on the basis of that graph. I don't understand how it is denied by the government. The graph is there for you to see visually, and that's why I'll give you the link. 24th April peak, and the graph then drops to 0 on 16th May. Please see the graph in my chart. Please see the graph in the visual. I implore you. Don't go by politics, press briefings, adjectives. Don't believe me. If this is being told to you on 24th April that we have passed the peak, we are now on a downward trend, and 16th May will be 0. You have reached from 3rd May to 18th May the figure of 28,000 on 3rd May to 1 lakh on 18th May in 15 days. The rate of growth is 257%. The death rate is 3.1%. And you are giving such kind of misleading, ridiculous, almost unbelievable kind of misrepresentations to the nation. And now that we are pointing it out, and it's been pointed out earlier, but I have gone into it in detail, at least have the strength of character and large-heartedness to apologize to the nation. Bring them up to sync with reality. This is all the result of an unplanned, knee-jerk, blanket lockdown. Far from coming to 0, the opposite is happening. Is the government running on autopilot as far as planning for lockdowns is concerned? Is its consultation limited only to 1 or 2 members, or are every member of the task force taken into confidence? There is serious doubt, and I charge the government that it is a 1-2% based analysis, action. Experts whose base should be broad, the consultation platform should be broad, are ignored. I want to read 2 lines from a Nobel laureate, Michael Levitt, Nobel laureate, not only Stanford Medical School top scientist, but also Nobel laureate, who on May 2nd said globally, not in respect to India alone, but on lockdown strategies. I quote, there is no doubt in my mind that when we come to look back on this, the damage done by lockdown will exceed any savings of lives by a huge factor. Lockdown is a huge mistake, and those countries where they've been applying them harshly will themselves be harshly judged. This is not about lockdown per se. It may be a good technique and we support it in principle to the extent of postponing, delaying, controlling, stabilizing. But this government has no plan and strategy either for entering lockdown at 3 hours notice or for exiting lockdown. And it is giving you false figures during lockdown. Therefore, this is a briefing on sudden, unplanned, knee-jerk lockdown. Exit and entry and exit. Now, during this lockdown, the last point I want to make is a quick look at the economic scenario and the physical scenario. Now, again, I'm focusing mostly on the period February and March till now, the lockdown period. This lockdown has achieved what? It has achieved a huge increase in cases, in deaths, a hardly marginal, inconsequential increase in testing, and the economic ruin it has achieved. India's unemployment rate is currently at 27.1%. Please mark my word, 27.1. We have never seen unemployment rate of this kind. This is CMEI. All the details are available, but I'm speaking from authentic researched records. Do you know that your unemployment rate is 4 times of USA? And you have probably given 400 times less economic support to the unemployed. It's 4 times more than USA. USA is 4 times less than you. In April itself, it had reached 23. It is today 27%. And what was it in March? Bad enough, but it was 8.7. So remember, I'm looking at lockdown. Then 122 million who have lost their job. Now I'm giving you some categories. 91 million are small traders and laborers. 18 million are salaried class. See, for a jobless person, all labels are irrelevant. I'm just giving you a profile of these jobless. We are talking of crores of people. On age analysis, the 20 to 30 years, which is the period of idealism, of hard work, of energy, 27 million youth have lost. This is an April 20 figure by CMI. 33 million men and women have lost in their 30s. That is, the figure first I gave you was 20 to 30. Then 30s, 30 to 40 that is. 33 million have lost in April. Of course, 86% of these 33 million were men. They've also done a survey that more than 1/3 of Indian households may run out of resources in 1 week more. These are all happening during lockdown. What is your strategy? What have you planned? You just sit with your legs crossed, your hands crossed, and give lectures about graphs which are false. But what is the result? How are you going to exit? What is your concrete plan? The cost-benefit ratio of lockdowns is for all of you to see. It is there for the nation to see. My colleague, Mr. Chidambaram, demonstrated that your 20 lakh crore fiscal package, like a pack of cards, touted as 10% of GDP, is no more than 2 lakh crores at the highest. I'm increasing the figure. He said 0.9%. Let's take it as 1%. This is not even an apology for an injection. It is like comparing the nature of the problem from a quail to an elephant, from a mountain to a molehill. Because when our Prime Minister makes announcements, he speaks from mountainous grandeur. So ये किस प्रकार की बरगलाने की बहकाने की चीजें हो रही हैं. I have got other figures which my note will give you. I don't want to get into more details. The AIMO has given you terrible, devastating figures for MSMEs. This is all focused on March or February end to now. Hospitality, tourism, aviation, apart from MSMEs, they have died by this kind of a not thought out, not nuanced, not graded, not planned, knee-jerk lockdown. All your core 8 sectors, as you know, which are the heart of our index of industrial production, I won't go into details, have gone down by 40%. Last month, they were down by 28%. The rating agency, and I'm not concerned about rating in the sense that if we are to be rated for fiscal injections, then our rating comes down, the whole world will have to be rated down. I'm concerned about what they say about lockdowns. Quote unquote, lockdowns are showing a disastrous impact on the economy and could lead to a permanent loss of GDP, unemployment, and poverty. This is, of course, along with zero financial package or house of cards financial package. Last but not the least, this lockdown